I'm thinking of starting a true crime podcast, but am I too late?
The School of Podcasting with Dave Jackson.
Hey, I'm Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting, where I help you plan, launch, and grow your podcast. And I saw this question in Facebook that was basically saying, hey, I know the whole true crime thing is a little saturated. Is it a waste of time for me to start a true crime show? And my answer is no, not really. But you got to realize that whatever your genre is, it's going to be a little bit of work. And just to get some perspective, think about all the musicians that moved to Nashville and all the actors that moved to LA. Or in this case, since we just had the Super Bowl, let's look at the NFL. 1.1 million high school kids are playing football. And that's a lot of really talented kids, 1.1 million. However, only 6.5% of those, that means 95.5 are not going to go to college and play college football. So that means we went from 1.1 million down to 71,000 college kids playing football with hopes of being drafted into the NFL. Well, only 1.6% of those college kids get drafted into the NFL. So now we're down to about, 1,200, 1,100-ish kind of students. We started with 1.1 million. Now, of the 1,139 that get drafted, only 853 are going to actually step on the field as a professional football player. They started at 1.1 million. 853 actually made the cut. Now, for those of you that are math nerds, that is 0.00075% chance of success. And yet, every day, there are new 10-year-olds that are suiting up and putting on their helmets with hopes of replacing whoever the top stars are now in the NFL. Think about diet books. 1,500 diet books are released every year helping you lose weight. And yet next year there will be more. So keep in mind that, yes, you can start a podcast, but it's not a guarantee if you think about it, right? Oh, I'm going to invest in some good equipment and I'm going to be consistent and I'm going to get good artwork and everything else. Well, the same musicians in Nashville and the actors in LA and the writers in New York, they all have talent. But I want you to go in with realistic expectations. Right now, a lot of people have no audience. And they say, oh, I'm going to start a podcast and then we'll get ads. Well, right now, less than 10% of podcasts get enough downloads to get, the big advertisers. That means 90% of people are not going to get the big advertisers. Doesn't mean you can't get advertisers, but not the big ones. So again, I'm all about realistic expectations. But here's the bottom line. The people I see that succeed as podcasters are not doing it to make money quickly. They're doing it because they have to. I have a client right now that is doing a show called My Spouse Has Dementia. And when I asked her, she said they're not getting the truth. The mainstream media is not giving the truth about what it's like to have dementia. This is kind of her mission. And if she makes money at it, fine. But right now, she just wants to get the word out. And so when I see the podcaster that is starting because they want to serve an audience, those are typically the people that make it through the hard part, because starting a podcast is not hard. Starting a good podcast takes some dedication. It does take good sound quality and good artwork and consistency and all those other things. But it also takes that passion, that mission to really serve your audience, because it's that passion that's going to push you through on those days when you go to check your stats and go, ugh. So hang in there, hop on the ride. It's a lot of fun, because you'll either end up with a phenomenal podcast or a really good story about the time you started a podcast. I'd love to help you. Go over to schoolofpodcasting.com/YouTube and use the coupon code YouTube when you sign up. And now it's time for the drill. You know it. Click the subscribe button, ding the bell, that whole 9 yards, and I look forward to working with you on making a great podcast.